Hey, Doug. Just wanted to get your thoughts about Stefan. Last year, he actually started last season with Dallas, and he was cut by them and signed by Pittsburgh in September. Just wondering if he's somebody that you guys, I guess, have tracked for a while, have watched for a while. And, when he came over to San Jose, obviously he made a good impression. So just talk about a little bit about what you guys saw from him beginning from last year.
Yeah, well, we've known him all the way back from his draft years, and when he played in Jersey, and obviously his journey last season. He was in Wilkes-Barre in the American Hockey League for a while. He lit that up, and I was in watching him play in Pittsburgh, and he was playing really well. So when we had the ability to acquire him and bring him in, we thought that he brought a lot to our team. He's got size, he's got a good combination of skill and versatility, and he's a quality guy. So, what we're trying to do right now, obviously, is get all our guys, our big boys back healthy, which is great. Have some quality veterans in certain roles, and then be able to have spots for our young guys to fit in, which are appropriate roles. So we think Steph just comes in and builds off what he did last year, and we're very pleased to re-sign him.
Yeah. Hey, it's Kevin. Obviously it's been a fairly quiet day from the Shark side, other than Stefan. Do you expect us to be quiet for a little while here? Is this your approach to the off season, is just to kind of maybe take things slow and see if there might be other opportunities in further weeks, or are you still trying to work on maybe adding a high end scorer, because there's still a few out there?
Yeah, I think what we did is, we've already addressed a few of our targeted needs a little while ago. Obviously today, you saw the goalie carousel take place, but we had addressed that prior to with the work Navi did in acquiring Devan Dubnyk. And then obviously we wanted to add another forward, whether it be through trade or through the free agent market. And we went the trade route to add Ryan Donato, now with Steph today. So again, you're exploring everything. We're still having discussions with some of our own people, obviously, and trying to find that sweet spot of the right fit, not necessarily looking to take on another, big contract or longer term contract for an older player and get in the way of what we think are appropriate opportunities for some of our younger players that had chances to play last year. So key is to put them in a right role and have the blend of a team that allows us to do that. So that's where we're at. I'd like to take this time too, if I can, to thank some of our undrafted free agents like Melker Karlsson and Aaron Dell that probably won't be with us going forward, but really appreciate what they did and how they came in and worked for us. And now the next batch of guys from that category, Melnichuk, Pasternak, and Handemark, it's their time too. So but it's a good day to thank Melker and Aaron too.
Hey, Doug, following up on kind of that goalie carousel, how glad are you that you did get Devan Dubnyk already, seeing all the movement with goalies today?
Well, I think the key is to identify the ingredients that you want, and that's why we did a lot of work. Navi and Adam certainly contributed a lot. Is you want to focus in on what you want, what you need, what fits for your group, and come to a point that the acquisition cost is fair and reasonable, and that's what we tried to do. You knew that there was a lot of goalies in play, different categories, different ages, different skill sets, guys coming off good years, maybe down years, which is often the case while they're available in some cases. But we feel comfortable where our goaltending decisions got to, and we look forward to both of them battling and challenging each other for the net.
Hey, Doug, I was curious, you were talking about ages for some of these free agents. Were you surprised to see the number of restricted free agents that weren't qualified and, that became UFAs, that quality?
Yeah, it's just such a unique year, and you take a look at it, and, the certain categories, the good players are going to do very well, whether it be in the RFA market or in the UFA market. And obviously, those players will do well, form of dollar term, but somebody's going to get squeezed. It has to somewhere. And I think teams made decisions on players that they didn't want to get in a tough position on. So I just can't tell you. It's such a unique time that we've never really experienced before, and it'll be unique going forward. So teams have to make decisions based on how they feel about their group and where the risk rewards are.
Yeah, Doug, have you spoken with Patty, and what would a potential Marlowe return? How would a potential Marlowe return benefit the team?
Those conversations, Kev, I gotta keep between us. I mean, obviously, it's meaning the player's agent and myself. Obviously, players of that nature, the respect for them and where they're at in their careers and what they've meant to this franchise is treating them with great respect is something that's extremely important to us in our organization. So, hopefully we'll have some news on in that area in the next little while.
Hey, Doug, how are you?
Good.
Any news or update that you can share on Joe Thornton?
Same comments that I just made on Patrick. As I say, those conversations stay between us, and it's the respect and how they're treated is extremely important to all of us.
Hey, Doug. How important is it for you to find a player to take draws on the right side? Obviously you've got a lot of guys who take draws on the left side, but is it important to find some balance there to find that player who can do that and to maybe follow up on Patrick? Is it important for the Sharks organization for him to be a Shark as he attempts to break Gordie Howe's record for games played in the NHL?
Well, I'll answer the last part. The respect we have for both Patrick and Jumbo for what they've done for this franchise is extremely important to all of us. And during this time, as I said, those conversations I'll share them when appropriate. But what Patty's accomplished, what Jumbo's accomplished is pretty special. I'll leave it there. As far as the other part of it, it's interesting on the face-off component, which is extremely important in the game. It's one of the reasons why Mike Ricci is part of our development staff with the NHL team. Is the ability to win face-offs on both sides of the ice is, it's a big thing. A lot of the top centermen in the league, whether it be a Bergeron or even a Richardson in Arizona who does a really good job, they can take it on either side of the ice. So, Mike Ricci would tell you that, he could win face-offs on both sides. You have to have a different approach to it. So he's going to be working with all our players, and we'd like to have a lot of, wingers that can also take face-offs. Dylan Gambrell, whether he's playing center or wing, is a right shot, but he's working on his face-offs. Ryan Donato has actually played center. Kaner's pretty good. Obviously, Logan and Tomas Hertl want to keep working on it. Shellman's very good on face-offs. So question is, can they get to the next level in face-offs? Reach has told me that he's going to work until they do. Perfect world, you'd have a lefty and righty on every line, but there's a lot of good teams that don't have that.
Yeah, Doug, this is a little bit hypothetical, but if this was July 1st instead of October, whatever it is, and society was normal right now, do you think this day would have been different from an organizational standpoint?
Possibly. I mean, it's a great question. The unknown of this, the length of time between when we played and when we start up, the lack of development camp. I mean, there's so many things that add to the complexities of this year. And, you're trying to make decisions on a lot of things that are new to all of us. And, I talked to a lot of our players. I've got a lot of the guys who are training hard and ready to go and eager. And sometimes their memories are short. We go back and the team was actually playing pretty well. I liked how we were playing. When our top players are in the lineup, we look completely different. Big thing for me is, again, our top players being back healthy, being on top of their game, and being connected as a group, and then playing the right way. And you can add all the players you want. It doesn't matter if you don't do those things. And that's really our priority. The ability to add players between now and whenever we start up or in season, that's always going to be there too. So we know the things that the coaches and players have talked about working on, and that is a priority. I expect us to be overly active. You're always exploring. You never know what comes your way. But again, going back to, we addressed some of those targeted needs in the last couple of weeks when goal and forward, and now we're just trying to make the right decisions to find the balance of getting off to a good start, having guys in proper roles, but you're going to need young players to come in and compete for spots, hopefully in the middle range of your of your lineup and have quality veterans in and around them that can go up and down in roles as need be.
Doug, looking at the I guess the lower part of your defensive depth chart, you have a lot of younger players, guys like Merkley, Middleton, Paznachuk. I know that you may not want to get into specifics, but is it fair to say that you might be looking for more of a veteran presence in the 5th, 6th defenseman range to kind of stabilize the bottom pairings?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. What you're trying to do is, we got 5 guys. We got Vlasic, Carlson, Seamack, Burns, and Ferraro that we know. They can play, and they can all play a lot. You want to have a spot of competition for some people. Pasternak signed with us. Merkley obviously is a first-round pick. Mids is really a quality veteran that's paid his dues. So you want them to be able to compete, but you also want to have competition. And so you don't want to give spots away. You want to have, it's just like Steph. Like Stefan Noesen can go up and play many different roles. So if you've got a Gambrell or Gregor or somebody playing in a third line role, if they're not doing it, Steph can come in and support and go up in the lineup. It's the same thing on the back end. We've got 5 really quality NHL D-men. We've got, obviously, our goaltending now is set. We've got 5 top 6 forwards. Ryan Donato coming in to compete for that spot. You've got some guys that think that they're ready to compete for that spot. Having some veterans that can be in, the 3rd, 4th line roles that can push, cause competition. Last year we probably didn't have that at the beginning of the year, and that's one of the reasons why, picked up Patty after we started, because Kane got hurt, Kane got suspended, Sorensen got hurt, and we were putting younger players in roles that they just weren't ready for. This is a different time. It's a year later. But I still want to have that balance of and blend of youthful opportunities, top players being in proper roles, and veterans that can swing around in many different roles.
Doug, what's the latest on potentially having a mini camp between now and whenever you have your main camp? What's the status of that? Are you confident you can still, 7 non-playoff teams can still have that opportunity, or where do things stand with that?
Curtis, I had that answer. We don't know. I had a Board of Governors call the other day, and what the dates are and what the specific plans are have not been shared or I guess filled out. But so we're putting the onus on ourselves to get our guys ready, to have our guys training and doing the things that they can do. We've got our coaches reaching out to players and doing everything that we can. But that's really what makes this difficult. Some people can say if you don't play for that period of time, who gets the advantage in that? Is it younger players? Is it older players? It's, nobody has that answer. This is uncharted territory for us, but all I know is our training staff and our coaches are daily contacting our people and trying to make sure they're on top of their training cycle. Because it is important. We've got to get off to a good start. The last couple of years is not, we did not start the way we needed to start, and we were chasing our tail in both those years.
Hey, sorry, Doug. There's going to be a portion of the fan base that says, the Sharks didn't make a ton of changes to their roster. Some, a few players left, a couple new players in, but not drastic changes. What do you say to people in the fan base that may be weary that we're going to see another season like we just saw?
Well, I think it's a great question, but the reality is, we did not get off to a good start. Then we had a very good November, I think one of the best in the league. So we showed that we were capable of playing the right way. Then, unfortunately, December was not good. We made a change. We started playing much better, and then we lost 3 of our best players. And I don't care what team you are, but if you lose your top 1 and 2 centermen and your top D-man, and you haven't built any margin for error by getting off to a good start, good luck. And that's what happened to us. And we've got a group of guys that care, and we've got a group of guys that I think are all in the really good places in their career that have had time to get healthy, learn that there's some things last year, not a blame game, just we got to be more connected as a group and play in the right way. But you got to get off to a good start. You've got to have a good training camp. You've got to do those things. But I will say this, that our best players are now 100% healthy. I think we've got some younger guys that are ready to step the next level. You know, the Hurdles, the Myers, the LeBancs are really important. We think our goaltending is in a better place. They put a lot of work in, and I think Nabby will do an excellent job. You can have the exact same team, exact same players from one year to another and have completely different results. But I think a lot of the things we did last year were self-inflicted. And I think knowing this group, they're really excited to get back and play the right way for a long period of time. So it's we showed there were certain spurts, as I say, last November, and some teams that we beat, whether it be, you know, Toronto and Pittsburgh a couple of times, we played really well. We were capable of it. And that's what we have to set this year. And I think when you got guys coming back with a little chip on their shoulder, a little edge, highly motivated, that they'll be ready to go. And all I can say is every year, and this year more so than ever, it's a unique opportunity to get back on top of your game. So, and we think this group can do it. And a bunch of the younger guys, I think, are really eager to come in and show what they can do because they got a taste of it last year, and they're a year older now too.